We gotta rush them. We gotta kick them. What we gotta do is get in and get the. All right, let's go. Come on now. Hey, we'll put the bass on.
Well, where to begin? First, let me start with this. As a guy who grew up in Illinois and used to go from Illinois to New York every summer to see my dad before I moved there, I was raised up as a Bears fan. And I have a soft spot in my heart for the Bears. And watching the Bears beat Dallas like we were supposed to, the New York football Giants, well, it was very pleasurable to watch that happen. To watch a team bounce back from being beat by 52 with a division rival in Detroit, and they came back and showed some gusto and showed some life. And not only the players, but the coaching staff. And I have to say, the stoic, eagle-eyed guy, the coach, guy that came from Detroit, offensive coordinator. Right now, I'm so angry, I can't think of his name. You guys know it. Look it up. The man had an energy that was great. It was fantastic. And I loved every bit of it all the way to the end. And Tom Brady and other Jamoke there, they were going, oh, is he going to smile? Is he going to smile a little bit? Hey, we'll smile at the end of the season, fuckhead. Let's get some shit done here. We have 2 straight losses in division games. And now we got the Dallas Cowboys in Chicago on our home field, and they showed up. Unlike the Giants last night at Metlife Stadium. With the great Lawrence Taylor there, got a beautiful TikTok video of a gentleman with the 56. He comes and sits in a chair. There was a special chair that was right next to Lawrence. He had a lady friend with him, and he signed like a very extensive thing on this guy's jersey. And he had to watch this 22-9 patheticness. Now let's talk about the positives. They controlled Travis Kelce. All right. The other positive was that we benefited from 3 major players not being there, of which one of was the crazy play with Worthy, where Kelce ran into him and basically damn near deflated his lungs. Shows you how powerful and strong bringing a tight end across the middle can be, huh? If only Dabols could understand that and throw the ball to Daniel fucking Bellinger. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there and cover everything, all right? So got a few things written down over here because I actually have been saying to myself I should write some of this shit down when I'm yelling at the TV. I had to turn it off. It got into the 4th quarter. It was obvious they weren't going to do anything. And I turned it off and I put on my PlayStation. And then I was so aggravated, all I did was just stare at the graphic of the particular game I put up, which was Gran Turismo. I didn't even have the gusto into me to go to Call of Duty. That's how deflated I was. Okay. The Cam Scatterbo play. All right. They hand the ball off to him. He runs off tackle. This guy came to play. He comes to play every day. They need to utilize him and think about ways to utilize him. It was wrong to utilize him on the flare pattern in the red zone. You're supposed to use your tight ends for that. And it could have been that he could have broke a tackle when you get a bigger body out there. But of course, this is like, A plus B equals C. So with fucking stupid ass Dabols and the whole crew, I tried to get on Mike Kafka's bandwagon at the beginning of the season. I tried to at the end of the season. All of you guys fucking suck. And you don't bring nothing to the table. You bring no energy to the table. You do nothing that's clever. And of course, if you want to watch cleverness, watch all the different configurations around the quarterback that Coach Reed will consider to throw you off. A back that all of a sudden starts running back this way, then the guy cuts across the tight end, and then they maybe do a draw play. Or they'll do a quick flare pattern, your little crossers. All those things is what loosens you up in the first and second quarter. That's why the tight ends are so important. But anyway, let's get back to the Scatterbo, because I'm all over the place here. Scatterbo, they hand off to him. Beautiful play. He gets the first down. Fantastic. Now you come with the same bullshit I formation. Nothing new, nothing different, nothing disguising anything. Okay. But play action that play to your tight end. Do not just hand the ball off to him so Chris Jones and company can just crush that spot and he gets nothing, which is exactly what happened. All right? You got Hyatt. Hyatt was looking really good in camp. Utilize him. Bellinger was your guy. He's ready to step back up again. Utilize him. Give me a triangular set of wideouts to the left of Russ, and give me a Daniel Bellinger, Theo Johnson. Put me a tight end next to Russ. All right, you got Hyatt, you got Slayton, you got Neighbors. And now you do that configuration. This is the kind of configurations and changing the configurations that make a difference. Hats off to the defense. They did the best that they could. Brian Burns is a captain and awesome. And as good as Lawrence is, as good as Thibodeau, and Thibodeau is his game and his stock is going up. He's playing his ass off. He's raised his game with Abdul Carter there. He's in his feelings about Abdul Carter and the talk that was in the preseason and the sports pages that they wanted to deal Thibodeau away, and he wants to show that he's a New York Giant. It's funny that some of the players, most of the players, if not all the players, are more New York Giant than the fucking staff and the fucking idiotic yellow ownership is upstairs. John fucking Mara. And Mr. Tish, I don't know where you're at. You don't say anything. You're kind of a quiet partner. My understanding is that there's some chick, Catherine Koch, I think. I don't know if this is part of the Koch Industries family that wants to be a minority owner in the Giants. But if she can bring some set of intestinal fortitude and may I dare say balls to this organization, I welcome it. Okay? I mean, this whole thing is pathetic. Now I sit there and I watch Spags on the other side of the field, and I'm thinking, you know what? Put his name on the list too. Now, I was also thinking, what if you did this? You told Brian Flores no in the interview over Daboll's, and I guarantee you'd be in a better place with Brian Flores today had you said yes to Brian Flores. But you can say yes now, because what did Brian Flores do? Brian Flores is the guy who turned around the game against the Bears and had a defensive scheme that would counteract what the offense was doing in the second half. And they were able to shut down Caleb Williams. They were able to make a big comeback and win the football game. So here's a suggestion for the Giants when moving forward. You fire Daboll's, you fire Shane, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm almost at a point where you could do that now. But let's just say you wait till the end of the season because you guys are so staid and laid back and want to try to do the right thing for people. What you do is you get Coach Coughlin and Michael Strahan, if he can free his schedule from his, ABC work, and come in and have them be co-general managers together. I know it's unusual, but we have an unusual set of circumstances here. What we got is we have a massive amount of data and great people in our giant brain trust. And Michael is as much a giant today as he's ever been, and so is Coach Coughlin. And they're very disappointed with the way the organization has gone. Let them come in and be the GM and co-GM. This creates a situation where if Michael has other commitments with his TV show and the OT and this and that, or he could shuffle it around a little bit when the season comes. And you have two guys who have pissed excellence together, okay? Then you hire the KC defensive coordinator, Spagnuolo. I mean, I'm so fucking mad right now. I'm so mad at these motherfuckers. I don't know what to do with myself. You know, excuse the language for people that don't appreciate that language, but the Giants are a fucking mess. And the ownership and the leadership are a fucking mess. And their way of planning or making adjustments are non-fucking existent because they're a fucking mess. And they all need to fucking go. We're going to have to deal with this shit. I didn't want to see this go in the direction that it went, and I was hopeful that they were able to get something going and seeing the scoring that took place against Dallas, and we should have won that game. You know, theoretically, if you look at all 3 games they played so far, had there been a different methodology, you could have at least been in all those, well, in the other 2 games, you know, which was yesterday and the first game against Washington. You know, so I would love to see Spagnuolo come in as the head coach with a 3-year contract, right? And then what you'd say is that you bring in Brian Flores at the same time to be the defensive coordinator under Spagnuolo. Now you imagine, because Brian Flores, very defensive guy, comes from Brooklyn, New York, be repping New York, and then you got Spags with the New York pedigree, bringing some of the ideology and ways of doing with KC. I would have great faith that between these 2 gentlemen, they would be able to think of who would be the type of aggressive and thoughtful person to bring in as the offensive coordinator. All right? Now stay with me on this. I know it sounds a little crazy and a little different. You got Strahan and Coughlin, co-GMs. You got Brian Flores and Steve Spagnuolo as defensive coordinator for Flores, head coach for Spags. Spags takes a 3-year contract and then hands the reins over, which is guaranteed in the contract, to Brian Flores. And at that point in time, and you'd be saying, what is the incentive to do this? The incentive is the love of the organization and love of the history of the New York Giants. You know, a guy like Spagnuolo has made a lot of money in his career. It's time for him to take a reign as head coach. But at the same time, he's a slightly older gentleman. All right? He's getting up there. He's had a lot of campaigns. How beautiful would it be for him to have the tutelage of Spagnuolo as head coach to Brian Flores as a younger gentleman that's very defensive minded. And now you guys put together the most powerhouse fucking defense that's ever been seen in the league and dominate the East and the league for 5 to 6, 7 years to come, right? Yeah. You know what? I was dreaming of something beautiful after the horror of this. All right. So I want to give a very special shout out to a guy that a lot of us Giants people know. He has his own show, and his name is Marshall Green. And man, Marshall, I saw you, I heard you, and I felt your pain. This guy just lost it. I've never seen him lose it like this. And you're absolutely 100% right about everything. I believe it's Chat Sports. Just look up Marshall Green on Google and you will find his. I highly recommend him. I have 80 subscribers. I'm just a little small fish in the pond. He has 85,000. But trust and believe we're both through and through Big Blue. And we always will be. But what we saw last night was so pathetic, so fucking ridiculous. It was beyond belief. And that brings me to another part of this dissertation, if you will. All right. Daniel Jones, 3 TDs, 3 TD runs. It's a record with 0 picks. Like since Super Bowl era, no one has opened up the season and done what Daniel Jones has done. So paying the money to Daniel Jones, to me, was wrong. There was other things that you needed, but clearly what you also needed was to have a change of pace in your offensive coordinator, obviously, and with your way of how you pick offensive line players, all right? And what kind of training you're doing on the offense. You know, you'll look at the Ravens, they'll have a running play, and I know Derrick Henry is a beast, but when the whole offensive line shifts right and Henry falls in behind them, and they road grade everybody in front of them, fantastic. When Saquon Barkley busts up and goes off tackle, and there's a massive line shift, and people are blocking people like left and right, why is it that whenever I see a giant running back with the ball, it doesn't seem like anyone's blocking in front of them? They're just static, and guys roll off of their blocks and then make tackles before our runners can even get anything going. You know, why is that? How is that? All right, so hats off to Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. He's doing it. He looks good. He looks fantastic. And speaking of the Bears, the crazy flea flicker, the ball goes way up in the air. It shouldn't even have worked. But the fact that they were willing to do something different, to stab a stake through the knife of the Dallas Cowboys, was fantastic to me. If you didn't see the game, watch the condensed portion of it. It's fantastic. So I talked to my brother, big-time Giants fan, and his question is, how come the Giant players do so well when they leave the Giants? Okay, because the systems that they're going into are better systems. And clearly, the usage of I think the guy's name is Warren, the tight end. Wow. The tight end over the middle, quick plays. The tight end's job is to chip block, go out into the flat, and mimic whichever side the quarterback is going to. So if he doesn't have a long pass he can do, he can drop it off to the tight end and maybe turn it into a first down. Daboll, you're an assistant tight end coach from New England, yet you don't utilize these plays. Mike Kafka, come on. You're the offensive coordinator. Give a guy a chance to win. Russ is what, 6 foot? 6'1". He can't see over these linemen, obviously. There was a perfect play, got blocked down. That was an important play. But if you roll him out of the pocket, I would suggest to you that if you do continue to use Russ, maybe you should look at what Baker Mayfield is doing, since they're about the same height. Now, I know Baker's a little younger, and Russ's wheels are not as good as they were before, but he can still move. He's a fucking professional football player. And I feel bad for my attitude towards Aaron Rodgers. All right? I kind of made fun of him, disrespected him, and my brother was on my back about that. And my apologies to Aaron Rodgers, because right now, if Aaron Rodgers was in Russ's place, we might be 3-0 just off of that alone. But again, you know, when you have a system that's not good, you know, the coulda, woulda, shouldas don't always work, you know. But let's look forward to the future of the New York Giants. Excuse me, I got a cup of tea here. and think about who we can use to replace these gentlemen. Again, if it's not, I would love Coach Coughlin in some kind of advisement role as an assistant general manager with Louis Riddick if Strahan wasn't interested in it. And if Spags did not want to have the head coaching position, let's go directly to Brian Flores. Right now, I will guarantee you that if you bring in Louis Riddick and Brian Flores or Coach Coughlin as an assistant to Louis Riddick, or Michael Strahan and Louis Riddick, or Michael Strahan and Coach Coughlin, and Brian Flores as the head coach or the defensive coordinator under Spags, we are going to clear out 11, 12, 13 years of dog shit. By the way, shout out to Marshall Green in the stats and the way he does his show. And he showed from 2017 all the way to now, the only year that we went not 0-2 or, 0-1, whatever, we went 2-1 in 22, and that was the year we went 9-7-1 with Daniel Jones, who won the game in the wild card playoff game. So, I think that obviously Daniel Jones has matured realistically. He put the ball on the ground so much, and clearly the coaching staff didn't work on things to get him not to do it. The type of personality that he's got is melding with the head coach and the offensive coordinator there. His time in Minnesota and not playing and really looking at a winning way of doing things, a program, positivity, 14-2 they went while he was there. He really didn't play except in a relief role, and then turn around and come to Indianapolis has benefited him. That's why he's a better player. But the other part is the Giants fucking stink. And their whole crew needs to go. I mean everybody. And I'm talking about these fucking clowns upstairs as well. We need to clear the house from top to bottom. And I agree with you, Marshall. Not for nothing, maybe Mr. Mara should consider selling the team. And for the Mara family, that's almost sacrilegious to say out loud, because Wellington Mara and the beginning of the Giants, playing in Polo Grounds in Brooklyn, and everything that goes with the history of the Giants is totally and completely, it's sickening to watch you bring forth a fucking product that looks like this. Everyone is disgusted. I watched a young lady that I follow. It comes from, she's part of the Locked In Sports crew. I'm sorry, I forget her name. Again, the anger that's pulsating through my body right now made me put on this Bears shirt and Bears hat for a Giant fucking video. That in itself should tell you everything you fucking need. Let's go fucking Bears, because I need to cheer for somebody during football season. And obviously, I can't cheer for Big Blue because we have lost it. Going forward, what should we do? You might as well go ahead and get Jackson Dart out there. But if your weak sauce configurations are what they are, I would invite the players to create their own game plan, because the one that the coaches got, both offensively and to some degree even defensively, but definitely offensively, need to fucking change. And Jackson Dart will just be out there running for his life until he gets hurt, and then you got to bring Russell back in, or Jameis Winston, who every 5 passes he throws, and I love Jameis as a locker room guy, but every fucking 5 passes he throws is an interception. So this is what we got. We got I don't even know who we got first and next, and I'm not even quite sure at this point if it even matters. But I know that there are players that are ready to play, and Neighbors, Scatterbo, Jackson Dart, maybe there could be an energy shift and that'll infect everyone on the fucking team. But you got to go back to the X's and O's. You got to do something different than a stupid fucking one back eye formation every fucking time. Brian. The same fucking configuration. If I'm a fucking team looking at game tape, I'm cracking up laughing because I think I'm looking at Billy Bob High School in Ophikanoki somewhere. Because your dumbass never does anything different. It's professional football, Brian. Oh, my God. I don't know. There's not enough liquor in the world for me to drink to wash away the stupidity of you fucking clowns and your bullshit. Anyway, that's all I got for now. It's a post-game wrap-up, if you will, of patheticness, 22-9. Oh, yeah. That reminds me. Don't let me leave out Graham Gano. Find the kicker! Dallas Cowboys found a guy that was sitting on his fucking couch, and the guy won the game for him with a fucking 65-yard fucking kick. And we can't find anybody but Graham Gano, who was hurt last year. We lost the game against the Redskins we should have won. And that's because the idiot Brian Daboll didn't activate the other kicker. Go find a fucking kicker, asshole. That's all I got. Let's go, New York Football Giants. And let's go fucking Bears.